Alright, for today's video, we're going to be taking a percent of a number. So if we understand the problem that we're trying to answer is, what is 68% of 450? Well, first, I need to think to myself, 68% of anything is obviously going to make this whole number smaller. So just getting a good idea, 50% of 200 or of 450 is going to be 225. So our number should be somewhere a little bit more than 225. So if we think 100%, that's all of it. That would be our 450. Now, using this rate table, we can understand the key landmarks here would be something like 10%. If we know that 100% is 450, 10% is 10 times smaller, or we just move our decimal place to divide by 10, and 10% would then be 45. Now we have a few options here. This is a key landmark that could help me get 60. If I know that 10% is 45, 60% is going to be 6 times greater. I have 6 10%. Now we just multiply 45 times 6, 270. From there, we need to get our goal is 68%. What I need to know would be 1%. And here, to figure out 1%, it's similar to the 10%, except we're making it 10 times and 10 times smaller again. So what we get would be 4 and 5/10, or 4.5, 4.5, is 1% for 450. Going from 1% to 8%, we are going to multiply times 8. Knowing that, we take every 1% is 8 times. 4 times 8 is 32. Half of 8 is 4. Add them together, you get 36. So 8% of 450 is 36. Now to end up with our goal of 68%, we simply take what we need, which we would take our 60 and our 8 to make 68%, which 270 plus 36 gives us a grand total of 306. 68% of 450 is 306. And really what we're finding is an equivalent fraction that 68% is 68 hundredths is equivalent to 306 out of 450. And that, just making sure that we find the equivalence. The other strategy that your students are learning is the same type of thing, except we're going to be going vertically. So 68% of 450, we use those key landmarks and we could say, okay, 10%, move the decimal, divide by 10 is 45. From there, we can either figure out what 1% would be, move the decimal one more time, or move it twice. You get 4.5, 4 and 5/10. And now, using this information, we need to make 68%. So some students will be continuing to go 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 6 times. As they get great at this, they go from 10% to 60% pretty easily. They say, okay, I need it 6 times. 45 times 6. 4 times 6 is 240, plus 30, 270. 60% of 450 is 270. So all of these are still equivalent. Now to jump from 60%, we need 8%. 1% to 8%, again, multiplied by 8. 4.5 times 8 was our 36. And we can add together 60 plus 8 gives me 68%. And we would have 270 plus 36, 306. Understanding that our key landmarks, again, are that 10% and 1%. If we know those, we can build up any other percentages using